I sense a mass of pure darkness beneath the ash, a heart of nothing but envy and hunger, from which thousands of tendrils emerge. Its power parallels Mirax's, and it eclipses everything I have ever known, save for the goddess's light. Whatever it is, those tendrils will certainly attempt to wrestle you from Azura's embrace, for it does not seek to break, only to corrupt. I do not, for there is only clarity beneath the light. As this darkness devours wisdom, it leaves only enticing whispers. It is, as I imagine it will soon attempt to entice you too. It will peer into your soul, seeking a void it can fill. Once it does, it will exploit your every weakness until you give in. It will do all these, for in this monster's eyes there is no greater pleasure than to twist a servant of prophecy. Even if the whispers came from his mouth, are the words truly his? All I've seen, touched, and heard in this temple prove the presence of a sublime being. Perhaps Mirax is this being, or perhaps he is merely the facade of this creature, baiting its true prize into the trap. I feel as if the slightest tickle could plunge me into the abyss of madness. There has never been something so seductive and promising. Had a lesser soul heard those words, they would surely turn in an instant. The ability to revive the dead, and the authority to arbitrate all mortal affairs, both secular and spiritual. They tempt me with my family's voice, swear my allegiance, and I shall once more hear their laughter in this life. And just as I guided you to retrieve Azura's star, perhaps you will guide me through this trial. Your presence will remind me of the goddess's light. Thank you, Chosen. I hear the sounds of a lightless abyss, an infinite hunger that swallows souls and wisdom until they become but pages in its book. To gaze into the void is to know the geometry of the cosmos, a knowledge which scours the self away, leaving an empty vessel where a man once stood. Then you know whose whisper you must flee. But besides these sounds from the abyss, there is another voice I hear. It is a muffled laughter from the ash, almost silent, yet never truly silenced. Through the eons, it has witnessed countless souls combat this world's misery. Some fought for glory, others for happiness, many just to survive. Some triumphed, most fell. It matters not to this being, for it is pleased with either result. We are all trapped in an eternal game of its design, slaves to the mischief of a heartless god. A being or object of divine essence is concealed in the ratway. One would least expect to find such a thing in a city's sewers, and yet there it is. I cannot divine its nature yet, but I can feel it is tied to the Thieves Guild's fate, and yours. Is this merely some artifact? The power it radiates rivals Azura's star itself. If one thing is certain, this is no mortal creation. If the Thieves Guild could steal even from the gods, how is it that it had fallen so low?
You need to tell your boys to play
Indeed,
nice, Delvin.
though Azura's light can penetrate even the vilest sewers, it did not arrive here by the goddess's will. Azura remains silent, as she has been since her star's retrieval. I suspect we will have to find the truth on our own terms. And then we destroy it, as Our Lady requires of us. Of course we will, Chosen, but be it a knife or a scroll, it remains a corruption all the same. To serve Azura is to cleanse those that would taint her grace. Remember your duty. Had such a trespass been made against the Twilight Goddess, she would have called for a reckoning, as she did with the star. Perhaps hers was the hand that pushed you to the Thieves Guild, for you to carry out her will and destroy this corruption. But there is another possibility, one I would prefer to be false.
Have you even talked to him?
What if the trespass was so ancient that it is beyond a god's ability to reverse? that she had no choice but to watch this part of her decay? In that vision, I saw a graceful woman guarding infinite doors, each leading to a destined room. Countless mortal souls passed through to the futures meant for them. The possibilities were endless, yet every room had its occupant. As the woman maintained the doors, a raven, ever observant, envious, bit off a piece of her flesh. It fled, leaving her to grieve. With this stolen flesh, the raven sought to become as beautiful as the woman. But evil does not become. It can only bastardize what is. So instead, it would corrupt the doors and the rooms behind. It would leech from the endless possibilities, twist them into its own. A pale shadow of the beauty that is. Fate, agency, possibility, perverted into the hollow concept of luck. Khajiiti legends hold that Noctra, their version of nocturnal, stole a key from Azura, thus enabling her to circumvent fate's ordained paths. The power to alter fate as she desires, molded into a key's form. Can you imagine? That makes him one of the closest things to the gods you'll ever face. We can only hope Frey is blind to this power's true potential, or at least not fully unlocked it yet. Then walk with Azura's light as you vanquish his shadow. Frey's room has been set. You need but to open his door. Azura does not speak, yet her rage is apparent. Her cries for justice far exceeds her grief over a lost piece. This perversion of her divine grace, the skeleton key, must be destroyed. Azura once showed me a vision where an order of light wielders, sworn to fight Daedra both benign and foul, would sever a tumor from the stars. A cult of zealots who would strike with hate, yet nonetheless fulfill their role in our goddess's plan. I understand. That's not what the goddess would intend. Still, I see the wisdom in such a path. With the eons where the nightingales were bound to her sepulchre, the key's fate has been tied with theirs. Free the nightingales from Nocturnal's clutch, and you will have ripped the raven's wings off. The corruption may remain, but rendered powerless. I am thinking about my fellow acolytes, the faithful who built Azura's shrine, yet could not make it to the end. May their next life be gentler. Fate is not a prison, but a canvas. It sets the dawn and the dusk, the start and the finish. But the painting in between, the struggles, the journeys, the choices, that is ours to make. And that is Azura's truth. Dawn begins, dusk ends, and twilight is the space between, where our choices give fate its purpose and power. It is the moment where your choices hold the utmost consequence, where agency gives fate its meaning. Think of it this way. Azura provides the destination, but the path you take to reach it is yours alone. Centuries ago, she prophesied the Nerevarine would return to destroy Dagoth-Ur and shatter the heart of mischief. The Neravarine's birth, Dagoth-Ur's death, these ends were fated. But the villagers saved, the bandits slain, sword or spell, honor or cunning. Every step of that journey belonged to the Nerevarine. Our ends are written, but the journey, that is the essence of our being. Your struggle needs fate to have meaning. Without fate, your agency is just chaos. Without your agency, fate is a tyranny. Azura provides the purpose that bridges the two. Defying a fate woven by Azura is more than rebellion. It is a tear in the fabric of reality. The consequence is not a simple change of events, but the unraveling of existence itself around that void of refusal. Some fates are less significant than the others, yet even from their ripples, a wave can be born. Yes and no. When a man rejects his fate, especially one whose destiny is to change the times, the world breaks and the tapestry unravels. Yet, as with all tapestries, a strand may be severed, but the threads remain. Time fractures, until one thread finds its way to the true destiny.